just put the link to the doc in the Slack. They're not the Slack. What is this?
Yeah,
the
chat. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Laurie. Are you feeling better?
No, I was just telling Mark how like I woke up feeling worse today, and this is day 3, which is really starting to freak me out a little bit, you know?
Oh, yeah, you should take rest. We can take care of this.
It's a half hour. It's cool. I did a call earlier, and then I just can go back to my couch with my space heater and my blanket and my hot tea and just lay down.
Okay.
Hey, Sudendra.
Hi.
So I am feeling better, although
you are? Okay. And I was
although I'm,
surprised to see you as well. I was like, oh, yeah.
although I am still taking Coracetin, but at least it's helping now.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, it's just this time of year, man. It's awful.
It's awful. And on top of that, the virus.
Yeah, on my call earlier today, I was talking with like Kathleen and Bill, and they were saying like, or Brian, I mean, and they said they both had head colds that turned into COVID. And I was like, that is not that is not what I want to hear, because right now I'm negative.
Well, COVID can sometimes start out with cold-like symptoms.
Yep.
I'm just so glad I'm vaccinated.
Yeah. So I see David Wheeler typing, but I don't see him in the call yet. So I'm thinking he's joining soon. Okay. Hey, should we get started? Because it's 2 minutes past, and if we can end early, everyone will have some time back. So so Steve Taylor helped us set up this meeting, and the basic agenda of this meeting is discuss how we act as an open source team, and then how do we set ourselves up so that we are welcoming to new joinees. Are there things we need to do in terms of outreach and promotions that we can do for garnering more interest. I think that there are a couple. So I haven't run one of these outreach meetings, but I'm just looking through the general agenda. And some of the ideas are mentioned here in the agenda of what we could look into. Hey, Laurie.
Hey, so I think since Stephen Taylor, he's not on the call, maybe we should just kind of talk about some general marketing things that we can do to try and garner some more contributors in the project. Because I honestly, his agenda, I can't work from it because I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things that we showed the website to a few people, and immediately we started getting comments on, hey, this is missing, or this is not there. Where can we find it? So there are some of those holes we need to plug so that people can find information. So that is an item to address. In this, for example, the documentation was broken, but we are working on it and we'll fix it. But there are other aspects, like where can they find a guide if they're the first contribute, if it's their first time contribution, if they want to write more documentation, how do they do that? Or if they want to explore and use this platform, Pyrsia, how do they do that? So I think those kinds of things we need to start working on those things.
I agree. And at a very basic level, I think it would be interesting to hear from everybody on the call, like what, in terms of marketing that you want to do, what areas of marketing Pyrsia that you're interested in, so that when we start kind of creating this master list of like things that we want to do, we can make sure that we recruit you to help on those certain efforts. Because some of the things that we've already discovered are places that we want to go. Like there is a diversity and inclusion group that is all about open source projects, and I'm going to work to get us listed on that, and they'll recruit people to contribute. There's also like the Google, I can't think of its name, but there's a Google component where they also promote open source projects and help pair you with contributors, people that are looking to get into open source. So I think it would just be good to kind of hear like what you're interested in. And so like when we start really, not that we start, but when we continue to build, we know where to like tap you on the shoulder. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, I mean, it could be as simple as like just posting to your LinkedIn, like if you have a lot of people, if there's a forum that you participate in. So I guess, Mark, since you said okay first, let's start with you. What
Well,
are
I'm
you
open
interested
to the
in?
general idea of writing articles or giving talks, but I have no particular forum or anything like that in mind.
Yeah. So I think that is an open question, is find appropriate forums where we can start talking about Pyrsia. Right.
Yeah, but it's great to know, Mark, that you're a writer and that you want to write articles and give talks, okay? Because we have our meetup person that can kind of pair us with that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Elliot? What are you interested in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in I guess contributing in terms of perhaps a Stack Overflow community,
Okay.
or kind of engagement through community engagement. I would think.
Awesome. Okay. Johan, what about you? Good to see you.
Maybe I can do a talk at the Oracle Open World, or no, that's. I think it's. I see my role maybe more as a technical support, people getting started, and so that's probably going to be the main issue initially.
So would you be willing, like if we had like a scheduled a Pyrsia meetup where it was just like how to get started, would you be willing to help run that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe
Hey,
that can
so
also be.
the Zoom links were messed up.
Oh,
Oh,
There was one Zoom link in the Google Groups call and one in the
calendar.
in the OpenSSF calendar. And so that's why I noticed you editing the documents, Citra, as I was also editing it.
yeah.
So it was like we were in two parallel universes.
cool. Well,
But-
welcome to this universe.
Yeah,
And-
so Baruch, David Wheeler, Steve Taylor, and myself randomly chose the other hyperlink.
Okay.
It's not that you chose wrong, you just chose differently. Okay, cool. So since we only have 22 minutes left, what we started doing was kind of going around and asking each person on the call what they're interested in terms of the marketing aspect of Pyrsia. So like Mark is in for writing articles and giving talks. Elliot is into Stack Overflow and support. And Johan just mentioned that he would try to maybe give a talk at Open Worlds, and that he's really into technical support and how to get people started. So we're going to work on creating a Pyrsia meetup that will focus on that. So and Steve, I didn't mean to like take over your meeting, but just since we couldn't really address any of the agenda items, we thought this might be a good use of time.
No, and the item that you have here about Mark talking about some tech, that's where on the other meeting I was talking about the ambassador / mentorship program, that we should probably look at how we can build that out.
Yeah, so I think it's really good though right now just to figure out what avenues people are interested in. So definitely once we get to that point, I think that'll be good. Baruch, I know that you're new to this group and happy to have you. But is there anything particular that interests you about marketing Persia, like whether it's just supporting us on Twitter or LinkedIn or
Yeah,
giving
no,
talks?
I'm all in giving talks and what's not. My Rust is rusty, but yeah, no, I'm not existent, but I am into dependency management, supply chain, and all this kind of stuff. So I will be happy to create content and talk about why it is important, how it has been done previously, what are the problems, security challenges, and what's not, and then talk about Pyrsia as the solution to all stuff. I will try to get into the code as well, although I might be too old to learn a completely new different language. But yeah, everything regarding the thought leadership about the whole idea, I'm all in.
I've missed you. I'm so happy to have you back. Awesome. Okay. Sorry I sound like this, y'all. I have a cold, obviously. So Erwin, what about you? What kind of things interest you so we can tap you on the shoulder appropriately?
Well, I'm mainly with you on this one. Yeah, I don't know. We do have some older customers that are using supply chains obviously and Docker. So I could do it low level, let's say, at that point maybe. I don't know if that's maybe of any worth.
It's totally of worth. I think like if you want to tell your customers that you're doing you're working with Johan perhaps on this meetup and you're gonna talk about contributing to open source projects. I think that's great. So yeah. Cool. Awesome. And then I don't want to butcher your name. Zufe.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm the blockchain guy, so I'm interested for the topic about the blockchain. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So whenever we have something going on where we could use an extra push, we can get your support. Perfect. And then David, you are on my list, and I know that you're the OpenSSF guy. So
I'm really the Linux Foundation guy, but I support the OpenSSF, including the OpenSSF. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, and just having you here as support is great. So any additional push you want to give us, we're happy to take.
Hopefully not off a cliff.
David, I noticed that the supply chain con got announced, but I don't see a link to the call for papers for that.
Should be coming out soon, although we were still working on the what are we looking for. I drafted up something, and I know Kate Stewart was making some edits, but I mean it should be out soon. If it doesn't come out by early next week, ping on me, because I think it should be coming out.
And is that one going to be a virtual, a hybrid, or an in-person?
I
know I put you on the spot.
Yeah, depends on what the virus does, frankly.
Okay.
way more than anything else. I think right now we are aiming for hybrid, but I mean, I knew the answer to that, but I don't now. But I think Austin. But I think it's going to be run just like the last year. Linux Security Summit, where they tried to do a hybrid. And
okay, so they'll be using the Hopin platform, probably.
I'm guessing so. I'm actually not involved in that part of it. We actually have a whole team called Aleph Events that deals with a lot of that. So I get to work on the tech part, and other people get to work on the hard and painful part of actually making things work.
Okay. So when you hear more about call for papers, please let us know.
Please let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. It should be. The goal was to get it out soonish, so it should be out by early next week. Famous last words. So I think there were some back and forths, but and really the call for papers. If it's within the general subject, even if it's, we've been fighting over the list of examples of areas we want to cover. But if it's with, I think Persia should absolutely do a pitch in there.
Yeah, that is on my list. But my other question was, are there other such events coming in the first quarter that we need to start rush and send stuff to?
Well, if it's a conference, it's probably too late to put in for a paper. I have probably, but none's coming to mind.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think at least the supply chain one. And there's actually another one, the Linux Security Summit, which I'm also involved in, and is going to actually overlap. So I'm going to be in two places at once.
Oh,
Thankfully,
wow.
thankfully they're right next to each other. They're in the same. It's in the same overall conference, so
Oh,
it shouldn't be. It'll be in the same building. That makes it easier.
Is
Um,
the Linux Security Summit more focused on security researchers? Like, what's the differentiation?
It's way more focused on, I would say, a much stronger. It's a much harder tech focus, either the Linux kernel or things like that. I suspect the other conference is going to be, frankly, more appropriate for Persia, not because it's not technical, but because I think that's
Yeah, no, I'm
probably the
looking.
better
I'm looking at
match.
the website now, and it does focus on researchers and community, but also specifically around, I think, hardening the Linux kernel and ecosystem. So
That's right. That's right.
we may eventually be applicable there, but I think with our first release, we're focused on the cloud native and container ecosystem to start with. So probably it's a future thing.
Well, but you're also doing packages like Python and so on, right? It's not just cloud native.
Yeah. But I think for the MVP, we're gonna try to start with Docker containers and images, and we'll expand out to other package types from there. So probably by the time we hit this conference, we'll have an MVP, but it'll be limited to certain package types, right?
I suspect that'll always be true, but
yeah, I mean, we could talk about what we're planning to do, but it what we have released will be less.
Yeah, I think it's okay to hey, 30 years out, no, probably not worth it, but next year or two, I think would be perfectly within
maybe.
bounds. Because I think you want to get an excitement over the future as well as trying to get more use in the present.
Yep.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, so I think those are both good. Does OWASP have any relevant events?
I don't know.
You don't follow them very closely.
Yeah, I follow them more, and just I haven't tried to keep up as much. I mean, we've got an OWASP rep, so we could ask them. OWASP does a lot of conferences, but a lot of them have been more localized. And they've been hit hard because historically they only did in person. And that's been kind of a problem during a pandemic.
Yeah, just a bit.
So
Okay.
I'm clicking right now on their events, on their event calendar here. OWASP 2021. That is probably not what we're looking for.
Well, while you guys look at what other ones, also Google Summer of Code is opening up. I don't know if we want to. It's a pretty heavy lift from the project side. You need 2 mentors, and the applicant's going to do between a smaller project's like 175 hours worth of work, and a larger project is over 300, like 320 or 350. I don't know if we want to apply for that. If that's it, like I said, it's a pretty heavy lift from the project side to have 2, and you need 2 mentors on that. And is that something we think we should try to pursue this year, or punt until next year on that?
I think we can give it a try, because we do have enough developers on the project where we I think we could have some people volunteer as mentors.
Yeah, I think two people is not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try that.
Okay. And David, do you know if the OpenSSF is going to be involved in Google Summer of Code, or should we do that at a individual project level?
Generally, it's been at an individual project level that rather than trying. I mean, we know some of the folks involved in that, but generally it's been down to the individual project. It just makes more sense that way. We don't need the overhead of.
Okay.
Why have the overhead?
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe what we can do is we can submit for Google Summer of Code, and then maybe get some support from folks at the Linux Foundation who know folks who are running the program, just in terms of talking about the benefits of the project and why it's critical for the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think the key, as you've already noted, will be having the mentors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done Google Summer of Code before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
Okay. All right. I will get the link to the deadline's coming up for the project to apply. I think it's February 7th. So it's going to be a little bit of a push to get everything kind of moving in that front. I have the link somewhere, and I'll pass it out so everybody knows what the kind of the timetable is. All right, cool. And then yeah, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was gonna say that I'm gonna raise it as an official discussion point, but I don't think we need to talk about it much. I'm working on the trademark with Brian and David and Jen to see if we want to do something within the Linux Foundation. And I think everyone was busy with the government meetings last week, so it kind of fell to the bottom of the stack. So I'm just gonna bump it up an email and see if we can get an answer.
Yeah, just send it again. We
exactly.
got hammered. I mean, it's not a bad thing, and some of the issues, in the long term, it's a good thing. It's just we're all tired. I still haven't read all my emails from the last week.
Yeah, I think for you that's very unusual. For me, that's usual.
Okay, cool. And then the only other thing I basically had on my list was right now whether we want to. So right now we have kind of two Slack channels going on. We have one in the OpenSSF side and one on the JFrog side. And I just want to throw in the hat there if we should use Discord, since we have to make a jump from the JFrog one over to the OpenSSF, if it makes sense to just go over to Discord as another option as part of that.
Is there an OpenSSF Discord?
There isn't. We're actually, the LF in general is talking about possibly moving a lot of things to Matrix because of the problems with Slack.
Yeah.
And I know they've got a Matrix server running, but that's not something that's everybody that's committed to this instant, or we're doing the transition of. Just FYI.
Okay.
I'm all in for everything, not Slack.
Yeah, and from my experience from the Ortelius side, I actually asked our community if they would do Slack over Discord. We're on Discord for Ortelius open source, and they 100% was like, yeah, not Slack, stick with Discord on that front. And one of the reasons is I think it's easier to onboard folks. There's a lot more bots from what we could do. Automation along those fronts that are available in Discord.
Yeah, but I think there's some benefit to being on the same channel as the rest of the OpenSSF projects.
Yeah, and that's exactly, and that's the drawback is being on a different platform. So thoughts?
Yeah, first we have to move to the OpenSSF Slack and or Discord, and that is something we have to do first.
Yeah,
We
but
should
I don't think there is an OpenSSF official OpenSSF Discord.
Discord.
So
No, there is not.
yeah,
Yeah, no, we're just using, well, email and Slack.
yeah. I think like moving to Elements in the future would be great, and that would give a lot of the benefits that I think Steve's talking about from Discord in terms of like bots and programmability.
Yeah,
Since there's a much larger open source ecosystem, they did really nice stuff with Element at FOSDEM to use it as their entire event platform and to build a lot of cool stuff around it. So I'm all for not Slack in general, but I think we should probably try to integrate with what OpenSSF is using.
Would OpenSSF be willing to stand up a Discord server?
I honestly, I don't know, especially since we're already talking about trying to do fire up Matrix. I mean, I think in theory, probably. I mean, the immediate question goes, what's it going to cost? So if it costs something, then that would be the issue.
Yeah, this Discord is basically zero cost for the amount of users that we're dealing with. When you get over to over like 20,000 users on a channel, then there becomes a cost. You bump up the back end resources by paying for it. So the cost is to stand up a server, get it going is zero.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's not costly, I think the problem is just for getting other folks in OpenSSF engaged. Like we have a channel now for the Pyrsia Bootstrap on the OpenSSF Slack. If there's different places people are going for different projects, it kind of splits your audience. It makes it harder to get involvements. Like that's the general challenge with having multiple communication platforms for the same group.
Yeah. So it sounds like do a quick vote. So everybody that will stick with Slack on the OpenSSF, or we ask for OpenSSF to do a Discord.
Since we have Slack, yeah, stick with that for now. And then when they do Matrix, we'll just move to Matrix.
That would be the easy.
Okay, I have my preference, but you know it's what the community wants. So let's go ahead and do the Slack through the OpenSSF. So I think we should pick a date then when we're going to shut down the JFrog Slack channel. So we kind of get everybody moved over to the OpenSSF Slack channel.
Yeah, we can archive it this weekend and then have everybody move over on Monday.
Okay,
basically.
that works.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you need like a new channel set up other than Pyrsia Bootstrap, or are you going to put everything there? I think it's a lot of noise to just have one channel with all of the discussions on it, you know?
Yeah, I am able to create new channels in OpenSSF. So I created Pyrsia notifications, for example. So should we just create a Pyrsia channel there? And then
yeah, I think we'll need to get the backend side for the notifications to tie the GitHub Actions over into the OpenSSF notifications channel. And then, like you said, this weekend archive the JFrog Pyrsia channel, and on Monday have everybody move over to that. That would be what I would recommend.
Yeah, I'll do that. Our IT team can quickly do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other items? Go ahead, Suhindra.
One last thing is I will make sure that we fix the Zoom links, and we'll just keep the same Zoom link shows over. So I'll put that and put that on this document so that that's the one we use. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then one of the things that Suhindra and I are working on, there's some notification problems with the Google Groups. with the calendar invites. So we're working on getting that sorted out. So when new members join the Google group, that they'll get sent the calendar invites to add them to their calendar if they want. So that's kind of the goal on that front when we onboard somebody to make it easy. If everybody has a little bit of time to run over about the website, Stephen, you said you were going to bring somebody on from your side to help out with the design.
Yeah. So we talked about this yesterday, but do you wanna lead this, Sinindra, on the website, or maybe Lori?
Yeah, I already set up a meeting with our website team and see. I haven't heard back yet, but we'll.
Okay, but I think the main thing we're looking for help with from them is the design, right? To help improve the look and feel of the website and visually improve it, but to keep it in Hugo in an easy format for us to edit and maintain in GitHub. So hopefully from a project perspective, it's not disruptive, but from a website actually being useful to new people coming to it, it helps a lot.
Yeah, so I set up the meeting since Laurie was sick, but I would expect Laurie to lead it when she's better. Otherwise,
okay.
we'll take it.
Yeah, that's fine. When's the meeting?
I think my Chrome stopped responding to me.
Is it next week sometime?
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Monday. So this is a site as it stands. And so one of the things that we kind of want to do before we really kick off like a marketing campaign in terms of tweeting and LinkedIn and all that good stuff is just get to what Steve was saying, a centralized look and feel. So pulling off the logo, making sure the headers all match on all the properties, and again, kind of just going through all of the pages to make sure that everything looks good. And this is a great start. And it's just, we're fortunate to be able to get our web team to take it to the next notch up.
Yeah,
so,
there are some typos there as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Please, so please point them out to us, Baruch, and we'll get them get on.
Is it on? It's not GitHub pages, right?
It is GitHub pages.
It is GitHub pages, and the sources are in the same repo, or
it is on the GitHub Pyrsia.
Okay, I'll just do like a pull request.
Yes, absolutely. The meeting is on Thursday next week, so 7 a.m. So we'll. Yeah.
So this is the repo.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
And what it is so what it is there's a the contents under the content English directory. So it's a Hugo Markdown. And then what ends up happening is when you do the PR to this, we have GitHub action that actually builds everything and pushes it over to the GitHub pages.
Say no more. Hugo, GitHub pages. It's all like.
Yeah.
I'm home.
Okay, good.
Perfect. So there is a PR I made yesterday to add the documentation link and put in some more documentation about, first time contributors, how to run Pyrsia, that type of thing. So once that PR gets merged, that we'll have some of that out there. So, all right, that sounds good. So Hinder, when you find that link for the meeting with your web folks, let's get it out there so people can join.
Yeah. Okay. I did find it. I'll put it up there. Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Laura, you're going to give us some parting words of wisdom here.
Just stay safe. I hope to not sound like this next week. And I really appreciate everybody being on the call today. And when we really gear up and start to get these little building blocks in place, I will definitely be tapping your shoulders for the appropriate items. So I appreciate you letting us know what you're interested in addition to, of course, just contributing to the project overall. Like, you guys are rock stars. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
Hope you feel better.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody get better. I see everybody with like tissues and sounding hoarse and get better over the weekend. So,
it's going to be like this all spring for me, so I get used to it.
Well, in here in New Mexico, we're going to have everybody gets allergic to junipers. because we have tons of juniper trees. So I'll be in the same boat here in another month.
Okay, yeah, we'll join in.
I'll be joining in. All right, with that,
Thanks,
everybody,
everyone.
have a good weekend. Take care and feel better.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.